my system one.
The Mummy Demastered is another Metroidvania-like game. It's based off of the most recent movie of The Mummy that was redone, but very loosely tied. There's like no... You don't play as any named character. But anyway, this is going to be an introduction level. This is not part of the main area. This is just an area that's... You play through it and then you get to the real game area. So, this guy's telling you about how they lost contact with their troops. And what you got here is you got your regular jump, which is nice because you got variable height jump, is you can just tap it or you can hold it. So how long you hold it, you can jump for different lights. This guy keeps wanting to talk to me. So what's interesting is that you can, of course, shoot in 8 directions. And if you hold R2 or right trigger, you can hold your position and fire like that. I would have liked also, I mean, this is just from playing Gunstar Heroes, that it would have been nice if maybe like R2 and L2, they do the same thing. It'd be nice if one of them was like a just hold your direction, and then you could like move around while you shoot. Man, this guy keeps wanting to talk to me. Like if you could keep firing in a single direction and then move back and forth. It'd be nice if one of those triggers could do that. But there's nothing to collect here. We're just gonna run through here. You got your B button is your roll. You can also hold down and jump to roll. Now that becomes important later because you'll get an ability that turns your B button roll into a dash. But you can still roll if you want to by pressing down and jump. Now, so what we see here is that the mummy kind of turned those dead troop guys into zombies, and then I gotta get out of here because the place is gonna fall apart. I don't think it's really gonna fall apart. There's no real timer. If anything, I should be careful to not take too many hits because I could actually lose all my health points and die here. But if you die here like I did on the first time I played through this, you will not get a game over. If you die here, you'll just simply continue on with the game like you're supposed to. The reason for that is actually because of what happens anytime you die in this game. And I'm not planning to demonstrate that here, but let's just get through here. I don't think any of these monsters are going to drop any health items. Man, also the beetles that are crawling around, they will drop. They will drop from the ceiling wherever they are to get you. I'm being extra careful here just to not die. Now, since I'm on such low health, the beetle's gonna drop on me. Alright, I made it. So, these little cutscene things here, they only happen so often, but they have automatically scrolling text. Like, I don't press the button to advance to the next scene. So if you don't read it fast enough, then you're just gonna miss it. But we are going now, as you can see, we're going to the actual place where the game takes place. And now you can see in the bottom right we got our typical map. If you press select, you can see the whole area. Well, let's see where we are. But what you have here, let's go ahead In fact, let's see, you got the regular sound volume. It's just a big single volume adjuster, no like music or sound effect option. Resolution you can change, full screen on or off, vibration on or off, map keys. Oh, you can remap your keys. It is fully controller compatible. I'm using a controller to play right now, but it only shows like keyboard stuff there, so I don't know if you can remap a controller the same way. Inventory. You'll get weapons. In fact, I should probably now just go ahead and quit out to load up my endgame file. So, these are the save points. Anytime you come up to one, it does take like a few seconds to save, and it has a little jingle. And then you've got, let me go ahead and change. There we go. So this you got you can carry a few weapons with you at the time. In fact, we're gonna go. Where's the weapon spot? Down to the right. So you've got these enemies around here, crumbling platforms. Those are health items, of course. So they match your health bar up the top. And then water is a thing that you can't swim in from the start. When you begin the game first, you kind of like hover at the top of the water, but later you get a power up to do this, to be able to walk through the water. And then also, I think one of the most interesting abilities that you get is this. You can grab onto ceilings and traverse. That's probably what stands out in this game because of how that affects the platforming and allows you to get different angles on enemies to shoot at. So you got your typical power-ups. You get a double. No, you don't get a double jump. You get a higher jump. So if you saw in the beginning, your regular jump height was like that, I think, and then like you just get an extra height jump later on. These are the weapons stations. So there's a bunch of different places on the map. They're marked in purple or the pink, and here you can refill your ammo. They don't refill its save points, but as you find different weapons throughout the game, you can equip them here, and you can only carry 2 main guns and then 1 grenade type. Now the grenade types, they pretty much scale upward in power. Like you got your basic grenade and then the incendiary grenade and the C4. Those are pretty much, each one is better than the last, I'd say. And you kind of throw out pretty fast and it explodes. These can be used to fight enemies, but I mostly have used them simply because there are these doors that require you to use them to open. As you go around, of course, you get your ammo refills. So let's go. Yeah, so like I was saying, you get this air dodge, or air dash, I guess, that replaces your roll on the B button, but you can still roll by pressing down and jump anywhere else. Except, of course, for these fall through platforms. On here, you press down and jump and you fall through them. So there is a little weirdness where maybe if you think something is a fall through platform but it's not, you're just gonna roll. And of course, as you get different weapons, they act differently. This machine gun one's probably like one of the best ones you get early on in the game. That's like the best you can have. The shotgun, I don't know, it might be stronger, but I think the range and rapid fire is a little more useful in this game. And the air dash that you get, you can also angle however you want, which makes platforming really easier to get through older areas. That's another place where you get a new weapon. Each of those ammo refill stations are like a place where you get new weapons originally. And then also, of course, you get like an air dash or a speed booster. You get a power-up that lets you run faster, but running faster and the dash ability are separated in this game. Like in other Metroid games, you get those kind of, you get the speed booster, which can be turned into an air dash at high speeds. In this game, you get the air dash regular by itself, but if you pick up speed with the air dash, then it becomes that traditional, keep going until you hit a wall air dash that's at high speed and can break through walls. So that's neat. It's kind of like a usual, typical, traditional Metroid ability that is separated into two. And you've got your diversity of environments. You got like this spooky forest area, you got the cave area, you got the desert area. Good variety of environments to go through. And then, now I should mention, we should test this out. So, what I was alluding to before with what's unique about this game when you die. I don't know if I can die really fast here. Oh, that's a save point. What happens in this game when you die is your character turns into a zombie. Here we go, this is going to be. And then you don't return as your character. You essentially in the story return as a completely different soldier. And you have to go back to find your zombified previous character to get your weapons back. And the game saves automatically when you die, as you saw right there, to sort of discourage you from restarting because you died. So what happens here, as you can see, I don't have any weapons except my basic weapon, and my health is down to a single 99 points. Now my zombie self is marked by that skull on the screen, way on the other side of the game world. I am pretty far away from it. And this brings up a thing that happened to me when on my first playthrough is I got to a point where I'd gotten through a bunch of rooms with a bunch of tough enemies and then died. And so in order to get any firepower back and any health back, I had to retread through that difficult area of enemies and before I could even get myself back. Now I died in an area in where I was having a hard time with all my health and weapons. And then I have to go through that same area to get that health and weapons back. That proves to be a very difficult challenge. So I think it might be possible to get yourself stuck in a place where it's nearly impossible to go back and get your stuff without, some huge amount of difficulty. also adds a lot of, I guess you could call it like backtracking, because I have to go to this whole other place. Now, if I wasn't already at the end of the game, I could theoretically go find new power-ups to help myself go back to eventually find my old self and get my power-ups that I already obtained earlier. But that is where I guess a lot of backtracking and exploring would be mandatory if you just happen to die. So I guess I can't really say that I like the system, because it basically means if you're ever close to dying in the game, you should just quit back to your last save point, because if you do end up dying, you'll probably be worse off than if you were to just go back to your last save point. But other than that, it is still a pretty fun game. If you, like on my second playthrough, I definitely stopped myself from dying by quitting anytime I was close to dying. If you're going to die on a boss, it's usually not a big deal, because your zombie self is just going to be right outside the boss room, which is right next to your save point. In most cases, pretty sure it's not a big deal if you die on a boss. But if you're going to die out in the field, in any random place, do whatever you can to not let that happen. So there's my old self. He has all my weapons, so he's got a super good gun. And grenades, which I don't have. Oh man. Holy cow. He seems to have more grenades than I've ever had. And all I've got is the basic gun and a single health bar. There we go. Got all my stuff back. So yeah, imagine if that zombie guy was located in an area with a bunch of actual tough enemies instead of an early game area. It's just very difficult of a thing to overcome at that point. So yeah, with that in mind, definitely have fun throughout the rest of the game. And I still recommend it if you play in that way to make yourself not die. But yeah, if you have any other questions about the game, you can ask in the comments below. And any recommendations you want to give me, let me know about those too. And then thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.